guys, this is Jessica from Wandering Tent, and today I'm making soap for the very first time. This is the soap making book that I have, and the recipe that I'm going to use calls for 25 ounces of olive oil, 7 ounces of coconut oil, 4 ounces of lye, 12 ounces of filtered water, a half an ounce of lavender essential oil, and a half an ounce of eucalyptus essential oil. This is some lemon balm that I mixed with coconut oil over the summer. So I've just got it in some warm water so that the coconut oil will turn back to liquid. And then I'm going to try to sift the leaves out of this. So what I'm probably going to do is use lavender essential oil and probably skip the eucalyptus essential oil, since hopefully this will have somewhat of a lemon scent. This is my scale, and this is what I mixed the lye water in. The measurements are supposed to be exact, so I measured the water, subtracted the bucket weight, measured the water, measured the lye exactly. This is the lye that I purchased on Amazon, and I purchased a scale on Amazon. I also have a thermometer. And then these are just some paint containers my husband and kids have gotten me for Christmas because they knew I wanted to do this. I did it out in the garage because, of course, the lye is a chemical and it can burn you, and it also puts off vapors when you've mixed it. I already have asthma, so I figured it probably was doubly bad for me to breathe that in. I didn't want my kids breathing it in, and here it's out the way, so nobody should knock it over. Here's some other supplies I have to cut the soap. This one is also, I believe, to cut the soap, and then this is a mold. All this I got for Christmas. My husband did order it off of Amazon. Here's the box to the scale that I got. Everything was pretty economical. And then here's the thermometer that I bought, and I'll put those links below. Here is the lavender oil, that essential oil that I'm going to use. That is not focused very well. It's just a brand that I bought at Walmart. This is a jar of olive oil. These lemon balm leaves have been in here since the summer. I had them in the windowsill initially and was rotating it, so it's been in there a while, so hopefully it did pick up the scent. So I'm going to strain these leaves off. I don't have a very good sense of smell, so I can't really tell if it smells lemony or not. You can come smell it.
It smells weird.
What does it smell like?
I don't know.
Olive oil and lemon balm?
Like oil and weird.
Thanks. I'm not quite sure what the outcome of this is going to be, but we'll see. I'm just going to let the rest of that drain. Hopefully it won't fall over. Here's the coconut oil. I don't know if it's going to come out or not. The top is not liquid yet, but the bottom is. I was thinking maybe you could warm up the top as it came down. Brought my scale back in. I'm gonna measure the oils into my mason jars. So I'm gonna put the jar on there and then subtract the weight from it. Okay, so 7 ounces of coconut oil. Now I'm 0.02 over. I think that's close enough. Now for the olive oil, I'm going to subtract the weight of the jar. And this is supposed to be 25 ounces. I'm not sure if I have 25 ounces in this jar. I'm using organic extra virgin olive oil. I think I bought this at BJ's warehouse. So 24, 12, 13. Let it catch up. 22. So we need like 2.8-ish. 2.79. I'm gonna go with that. So the recipe says to combine the lye and the oils when they're about 100 degrees. This oil, this is the olive oil, and it should be about room temperature. The coconut oil is probably a little bit warmer. So this says it's about 68 degrees, the olive oil, and so the coconut oil so I'm definitely going to have to put it on the stove. It's still going up. We'll see what it lands on. So we've got olive oil and lots of olive oil. Coconut oil. It actually got up to 84.5 degrees. And again, that was because I was already warming it. I've just got my stove on low. This burner right here, I don't know, it seems to get warmer than the other burners. So I'm just going to leave it on low for a few. And I'm going to look at my recipe again. So I read that a stainless steel pot was the best to use for the oils and the lye. And I just bought this pot at the thrift store for $7. And then I have dedicated utensils for soap making. I also have a hand blender. And I'm going to check what this oil temperature is doing. Oh, we're already over 100 degrees, so I'm going to take this off the burner. Whew, my thermometer almost fell in the pot. And I'm going to run out to the garage and get the lye. So here's my lye solution. When you mix the water and the lye, it makes a chemical reaction and it actually heats. I don't know how hot it gets, but I read that it takes about 2 hours for it to come down in temperature. So actually just set the alarm for 2 hours to kind of give me an idea of when I would need to come back to it. I'm going to go ahead and check the temperature of this. And I left it outside in the garage, so the temperature is actually less than the oil. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do about that. Let the oils cool. So, disclaimer when you're, or not disclaimer, just safety information. When you're dealing with lye, you should have on gloves and long sleeves. I am going to very gently add these together since there is a temperature difference and I'm not quite sure what will happen. Hopefully nothing bad. Nothing appears to be blowing up. So apparently you have to be very careful with any of the solution left over in any of the raw soap. So I'm going to just mix this together really good, and then I'm going to start mixing with my hand mixer for 2 minutes. I'll stick this in here so it's not dripping on anything. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes, and you want to have goggles on for this. And now it says to let it rest for 4 or 5 minutes. So while I'm waiting for that soap batter to come to trace, I'm going to prepare my soap mold. Some people say put parchment paper in there. I did read that you could use cooking spray. I have some olive oil cooking spray, so that's what I'm going to use. This is a silicone mold, so it should come out pretty easily. I also have some lavender flowers, dry flowers, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in the bottom so that one end will have some lavender on the end of the soap. And then I'm also going to put 2 tablespoons in with the soap. And, ooh, I'm making a mess. I'm going to see how that does. And instead of putting the eucalyptus, I'm going to put double the lavender, since I'm not doing the eucalyptus. And I think what I'm going to do is, instead of putting the 2 tablespoons in the recipe like I said, I think I'm just going to leave this on the bottom, and so one end will be covered in lavender flowers. We'll see how that turns out. It's obviously purely experimental, because I've never done this before. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, so I can already tell it's thicker. So checking for trace means basically you take the batter and then you kind of make a, I guess like a line on top, and it'll actually, you can see it sitting on top. And this recipe I think said it might take a little longer to get trace. And I don't really see it sitting on top. I see it kind of just going to the bottom. So it says basically you're going to continue mixing and resting until you get trace. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix again for 2 minutes and see if we can get trace. Okay, that's 2 minutes. Just trying to be really careful about not getting the batter everywhere. Oh, I think I see trace. I don't know if I need to let it rest again, but when I brought the mixer out, you see how you can see the plop on top? I didn't mean to rhyme, but let's see what this does. I think I see some trace. I don't know if that's enough. I'm going to let it rest for the 5 minutes and then go from there. So I do see some. See, I'm going to let it rest for 5 minutes and go from there. So I feel like we have light trace now. You can definitely tell that the batter is a lot thicker, and when I do it on top, you can kind of see the designs that the soap is leaving on top. And the recipe just says to light trace. So now we're going to add our lavender. I didn't realize, but these containers only hold 0.5 ounces, so it's going to take 2 of them. There we go, 2 of them. Yeah, 0.5 of an ounce, which is an entire bottle, oh my gosh, of lavender. And 0.5 of an ounce, another entire bottle of lavender. And then this is going to get mixed for 30 seconds. You can tell how much thicker that is now. Definitely have trace. Just trying to get all the extra off of there. Okay, now I'm going to put the soap batter into my mold very carefully, hopefully. It looks like vanilla pudding. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. That's a little bit better. Kind of the consistency, I don't know, that's pretty runny banana pudding, I'd say. And again, you have to treat the raw soap, it will burn you, so you have to be careful. So I am going to just try to smooth this out a little bit. There we go. It definitely smells like lavender. So I'm going to go put this in my closet for 24 hours. First, I'm going to cover it with parchment paper. Let me do that. So I'm going to cover this with parchment paper, and then I'm going to wrap it in a towel to insulate it. I've seen some people that they actually wrap it or put it in a cooler to insulate it, but it's going to stay wrapped up in the towel for 24 hours. And then after 24 hours, you try to cut it. If it's still too soft to cut, I think you let it rest for another 24 hours. I'm actually going to put a rubber band around this to keep the paper in place. It seems to be working okay. And here I'm putting it in my closet on the shelf. And I'm just going to wrap it up with this towel. Okay, I'm going to let it sit there for 24 hours, and then in the next video I will come back with the cutting. I did read in one site where they actually put their stuff to the side for a few days, and then it becomes a little bit safer to clean everything. I'm going to just go ahead and rinse it out. I'm going to keep my gloves on. I'm going to go ahead and rinse everything out so that I don't have to worry about it. Okay, here is the unveiling of the soap. It's actually been in there longer than 24 hours, so hopefully that's not going to cause any problems, just because I worked the weekend. So we're going to pop it out of this mold. Ooh, it seems kind of soft. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to feel or not. I'm scared to be too rough with it. I don't want to mess it up. And I know it's not cured soap. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to wear gloves or not, so I went ahead and put them on as a precaution. Okay, it's got like a weird spot there. And I don't know, the lavender's not very pretty like that. I guess it wasn't super pretty to begin with, but here I've got a measuring tape, so hopefully I can keep my slices kind of normal-ish size. I think I'm going to do 1-inch bars. Let me start this at the beginning here. It is pretty soft. So maybe next time I'll try a different recipe and see if it's not quite as soft. Amazon Prime just pulled up. Okay, Julie, let me have that. Okay, so this is one of the cutting tools. first one. Can't really see it on the camera. It definitely smells like lavender, that's for sure. It's probably not exactly 2 inches, but oh well. So you cut the whole thing, and then the bars have to cure for 4 to 6 weeks in a well-ventilated area is what the directions say. I'm going to put them in my closet, which is probably not a well-ventilated area, but it seems like it's the best place for it to go right now. I'm losing my tape measure here. And I'm not exactly doing this straight. I guess I'm going to need more practice. I'm going to cut this one. Ah, I messed one up. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to cut this one in half because it's too thick. Okay, it's definitely not perfect, but that was my first time. So I will update you in 4 to 6 weeks and see what these bars look like. Thank you for watching.